I literally have like no pigment in my skin. Literally no pigment. I want a fucking popsicle. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Michael Lawrence. I've been getting a lot of requests on my old videos, people wanting me to talk about my weight loss. I know that can be a touchy subject for some people, and some people can be very interested in it. I thought that I would just share my experiences with how I've lost weight and what I've had to do to lose weight. I want to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. I don't have any kind of medical training. These are just my opinions, and this was just my process. So if you really want some credible information, I would suggest going on to websites like Bariatric Centers of Excellence websites or stuff like that when it comes to nutrition and weight loss and all that stuff, because I'm not the person. I'm just going to be sharing what I've done. So with that being said, let's get into it. I want to go back from very early on and then like up until now to kind of give you guys kind of a scope of like what my process has been thus far. When I was born to a single mother. My dad left her when I was like 1 or something, and we moved away, and then we came here. Between the ages of like 1 to 7, I was pretty normal weight. I was big. I was a tall kid. I've always been very tall. I was a big baby. My mom was in labor for like 2 days or something. Had to get a C-section, just couldn't do it. And during that time, I was a decent weight. My dad came back into the picture when I was like at the end of 2nd grade. So I was like at the end of being I was like still 7 years old. I was going in, and I was getting ready to go into 3rd grade. He came back into our lives, and he lived with us for a while. He was there. He was a good father. He's just an absentee dad. And he ended up leaving again after like 6 months. And I want to say like that was when I started to gain weight. I just remember that I don't know. I block out a lot of that time. I block out a lot of my childhood because I just like it wasn't very fun. There's a lot of stuff that happened, and I don't want to get into all that. But I do remember that being like a significant pivotal point in my life. And I do remember being extremely upset and distraught over him coming back and then leaving again. And I want to say when I was 8 years old, like that was when I started to like get big. And then from then on, I've always been big. So like when I was 12 years old, I was like already like 5'11", almost 6 feet tall. And I weighed like 200 pounds. Like, so I was like a big kid already. And as time went on throughout high school and stuff like that, I just gained and gained and gained. And I graduated high school at 420 pounds. No, I don't think it was. I think it was like 440 pounds. I graduated from high school, 6'6", 440 pounds. I mean that had its advantages. Don't get me wrong. Like I was very good at sports. I was bigger than other people. I played football. I played basketball. So like it wasn't like it was all bad, but like yes, I was really big. I was morbidly obese when I was like in high school, so that's never fun, right? Thankfully, because of my size, because I played football, because I was involved in student council, I even did band. I was in marching band. Like I had a lot of friends, so people never really criticized me for my weight or made fun of me. I never had to worry about like being bullied, I guess. Thank God, because not only was I a big kid, I was a black kid, and I was a gay kid. So it was like, there's a lot of things, but I was pretty fortunate when it came to that. Also, I don't think anyone would really come to me and say anything, at least to my face, because the truth is that I have like 200 pounds on you and like 7 inches, so like I'm a formidable opponent, if that makes sense. After high school, I continued to gain weight. I worked odd jobs. Working those odd jobs, you'd go out to eat with friends. You eat more, and I just gained and gained and gained. And it wasn't until I was 26 or 20. I think when I was 26 is when I like reached my highest weight, and my highest weight was a little over 570 pounds. I knew I was big. I still continued to eat poorly. I overate. That was my biggest thing, is I just really like food. It wasn't desserts, it wasn't snacks, it was food. So like if I went and I got pasta, I'd get the biggest fucking bowl of pasta with like the highest calorie count. that was my cry. So that was what I always dealt with, was overeating. I was a big overeating. During that time, I have health insurance, and so I saw a lot of weight loss. I saw a lot of nutritionists. I had started the process for bariatric surgery like over and over again, and I would go through it to a point, and then I would stop, and go through it to a point, and then I would stop. It wasn't until my mom got into a really horrible car accident that things kind of got put into perspective for me. She was essentially T-boned by like a semi-truck, and she got flown away. She got flown to a hospital, a better hospital, like 2 hours away. And during that time, my grandmother and I we were going back and forth, driving 2 hours there and back, to be with her, to make decisions, all that stuff. And it was like real. And I remember like walking the halls of the hospital and being like, fuck, like I'm so tired. And it was like, well, of course I'm tired. I'm like super fucking fat. Like, you know, like, of course getting in this car every day hurts my body because I'm really overweight. Like, this is hard for me. And my mom was in the hospital for a month, and then she came home. And there's a whole other stuff with that or whatever. But like, I was very active. I was actively trying to like help her. And like, I realized that like, I just didn't have the stamina or the strength to like help her too as much as I wanted to, if that makes sense. Because like, it was hard lifting her up and down because I could barely lift myself up and down. And so it was in that moment that I was like, I have to do something. Like, I have to do something about my weight. My mom ended up making a full recovery, so I mean, thank God for that. But it was in that moment, I guess, I had a point of clarity. And so I was like, I need to change my life. And so this ultimately ended up in me having bariatric surgery, not once, but twice. The first time I went into it, I met this doctor. He's super dope. He's still my doctor to this day. He is one of the leading bariatric surgeons in California. He's super nice, his bedside manner is amazing. He like gives his personal cell phone number to all of his patients. So like, if anything happens or you have any questions, you can just text him or call him and he'll answer you. When I talked to him, he went through the pros and cons of each surgery, right? So there's lap band, there's gastric bypass, there's vertical sleeve, there's duodenal switch. I'm sure there's other ones that I don't know about, and you can research all those, and there's pros and cons to each one. Because I was 27 years old, 26 years old, I wanted to have the vertical sleeve. So you hear about the vitamin deficiencies and people having to do the B12 and all that stuff, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. But just so you know, even if you have the vertical sleeve, you still have to take all those vitamins too. So it's not like you just get to opt out of taking vitamins because you get the sleeve. And I was also, because of my age, I was like, well, I don't want to get the gastric bypass at a super young age and then like have to deal with this stuff later on, like, because most people who are getting gastric bypass surgery are in their late 30s or like early 40s or even into their 50s. So I was like, do I really want to do all that? Like, but so the surgeon and I decided that I would have the sleeve. Also, I was over 500 pounds, and I wasn't the biggest patient that he had operated on, but I was the tallest patient. And my doctor utilizes a machine called the Da Vinci, and it's like this robotic thing. Like, he doesn't even put his hands in your body. It's all a robot that does everything. He controls it. I don't know all the details of it, but he showed me the machine. Like, I remember being wheeled in and seeing the machine, being like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. It reminded me of something like out of The Sims or something. Like, I don't know. It was just like it was kind of crazy. And so I had the vertical sleeve surgery. I woke up. Everything was fine. After that, though, I didn't have complications, but I had really bad acid reflux. Like, from the jump, I had horrible acid reflux. And he had told me that could be a strong possibility because of my history with GERD. I had GERD before surgery, so he's like, you will have GERD after surgery. That's just a fact. Like, and he's like, will it be bad? I don't know. Will it be the same? I don't know. I can't promise you those kinds of things. The only things I can promise you is that I'm a good surgeon and I'll do my best. So I woke up, the first week I was fine. As soon as I started introducing, doing the meal progressions, from clear liquids to full liquids to purees to soft to hard, each time I would progress, it took me longer to progress than most of his other patients, and I would have horrible bouts of reflux. So it was just a constant need of having to take Rolaids or Malox, and also taking Protonics or taking Nexium. Like, I was just constantly trying different combinations of medications to try to like stop the burning sensation in my chest. So for a year and a half, I had that surgery in February of 2016. Yeah, February 2016. I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight. I think the lowest I got down to was like 380 after that surgery. And then what would happen was, because my acid reflux was so bad, I would constantly snack on things, because if I found that if I had nothing in my stomach, it was at its worst. And so that meant, like, I would eat right before I'd go to bed, because if I didn't eat anything before I'd go to bed, I would throw up in the middle of the night. I would throw up bile and stuff, because there's nothing in there to absorb any of the acid. And I found that eating carby things are what helps. So like eating chicken would make it worse. Eating fish would make it worse. Eating red meat would definitely make it worse. The staples of the diet that I would use to help me lose the weight would make it a lot worse. So I would snack on crackers. I would even nibble on toast and stuff like that. And when you're eating things like that, you're just like not gonna lose weight, right? Like you're nibbling all the time. So I ended up gaining some weight back, and I think I got back up to like 420, and I was like really depressed about that, and I was really upset because, a lot of people like to talk about how like there's people who are like failures when it comes to the surgery, and it's like, ugh, like I don't want to be one of those people, and everyone is quick to tell you that you cheated or da 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 da. I'm gonna make a whole nother video about that actually. So yeah, so I talked to the surgeon. I had multiple endoscopies. My gastroenterologist was involved. My primary doctor was involved. My therapist was involved. We tried antidepressants. We thought that maybe it was stress. We thought all this stuff. There's only so much stuff that they can do without actually opening you up and seeing what's wrong. So what happened was, my surgeon decided, he gave me the option. He was like, look, I can get in contact with your insurance company, and we can see about getting you converted to, or getting a revision to gastric bypass. Now, you're gonna have to go through the process all over again. That's gonna have its whole host of new things that you're gonna have to deal with, but it should resolve your acid reflux, and your acid reflux right now is really bad. My gastroenterologist, I think I had like 4 endoscopies. Each time he would go down there, he would do a tissue sample. Each time he did the tissue sample, it would come back worse. Like, it would come back more abnormal each time. So, and each time he went in there, he saw that it was more red and more inflamed. He could see like scar tissue starting to form on in my esophagus from all the acid. So he was beginning to become a little concerned too, because I don't know if you know this or other people know this, but one of the things that causes like throat cancer and stuff like that is acid reflux. So he became concerned, and so did my surgeon. So I decided to have gastric bypass. So in December of 2017, at the end of December, 3 days before Christmas, I got a revision into gastric bypass. Same kind of process of recovery. You stay one night in the hospital, you leave the next day. Clear liquids for 2 days, full liquids for 2 weeks, soft food, pureed foods, soft foods, hard foods. So, I mean, I was used to it. It wasn't like that big of a deal. The one thing I was not used to though was, it felt like there was more, I had more restriction. That was one, like, so I had to sip a lot slower this time. And since then it's been pretty successful. I've had one little hiccup, but that's resolving itself. I'll make a whole nother video about that. I've lost a lot of weight. So when I went in for surgery, I was 425. I'm now down to 355. So in the process of December, I can do math, guys. The end of December to January to February to March. So it's 3 months. So 425 to 355. That's 25, 60. No. Yeah, 60. Is it 60 pounds? I don't know. I've lost like 60 pounds. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm like losing weight. And each time I go in, I lose weight. I made it a point, like, I don't weigh myself at home. I only weigh myself when I go to the doctor. And I can go to the doctor whenever and they'll weigh me. They have like a huge biometric machine that like does your weight and everything like that. And I'd rather do it there, and they keep track of everything for you, which is nice. So yeah, that was why I essentially had bariatric surgery twice. And I would do it all over again. I would do it in a fucking heartbeat. A lot of people ask me that. They're like, God, would you do it knowing what you know now? Yeah, I would do it. Maybe the only thing I think that would probably change is maybe initially I would have just had gastric bypass. Because he told me initially, he was like, look, you have GERD. So like, if I give you the sleeve, you could have really bad GERD. And I didn't listen to him, and I thought that I knew better. That was a very big learning lesson for me. Trust your surgeon, especially if they're good. Trust your doctors. Get second opinions, do all that. Research online, do all that. Talk to people who have had surgery, do all that. But I think that like I learned my lesson when it came to that, and to not think that I know it all, because I don't. So yeah, so that's been my process. I'm still losing weight every day. I'm not cheating. I don't think that it's a cheat that I had surgery. I don't think it's a cheat that I had surgery twice. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's a tool. I work out. I eat well. This has been a more emotionally draining than I think would have been just to try to do it all on my own. Could I have done it on my own? Maybe. Would I have been successful on my own? Maybe. We'll never know. I don't think I would have been successful without having this tool. I think that this is gonna give me the best results and the results that will stay the longest. So that was why I had bariatric surgery twice. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below and I'll try to respond. Subscribe, that's always nice. And in the next I have a couple more videos planned. I'm gonna do a 10 things I learned after having bariatric surgery, and like 10 things that helped me survive bariatric surgery. Because doing this twice now, I've learned a little things that they don't really talk about that much, especially online and stuff like that. I mean, you can find some things, but there's things that may be unique to me, but I'm gonna share them, and like hopefully some people will find that useful. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say. So until next time, toodles.